There's no doubt about it. This Meteor here is the biggest IEM yet this year, 2025. Compared side by side with my Silga Nightingale from every angle, from the sideways, upways, you name it. This thing is thicker, bigger, like an elephant. Yes, no doubt about it. And as you can see here, when worn, it protrudes kind of a bit, let's say, you can't miss it. It's really big. The most surprising thing about it is that despite being big like this, I was able to wear it comfortably. 2 hours, 3 hours, no problem at all. No issue with discomfort, no issue with fatigue or anything like that, no abrasiveness. And on top of it, it seals really well. I am not hearing that much of ambient noise seeping in, but I do get a bit of sensation of that underwater kind of feeling. So just be mindful of that. With just 18.5 ohm of impedance rating, very low I would say, and super sensitive at 120 dB, and a hybrid on top of it. This Meteor here is super easy to drive, and true indeed, when I connect it the first time with this Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV, very weak source, a phone from the 3.5mm single-ended termination, I was already getting the kind of sound which I would consider as wholesome. And you might be wondering, being super sensitive, there's a caveat to it. When I connect this Meteor to something which is very powerful, something like ShenzhenAudio Playmate 2, my desktop DAC amp, I am hearing a bit of floor noises. In fact, a lot of floor noises. And the same can be said when I connect it to even small dongle like Venture Electronic Devastator, which is known to be like kind of a bit noisy with highly sensitive stuff. iBasso DX340 here. Crazily powerful and very resorbing. However, the caveat is that I need to tone down the power a bit in order to achieve something which is not shouty. Yes, this thing is a bit shouty when you apply too much power to it. So I need to tune it down from high gain all the way to the low gain. And in fact, I switch over to 3.5mm single-ended termination. So just be mindful. If you have super powerful sources, this thing might end up a bit shouty. Assuming that the huge size of this IEM does not concern you and your ears can accept it, then I just gonna simply say, this is without doubt one of the very best hybrid IEM from Moondrop so far. The very best because, first, the tuning itself is just simply excellent. Despite having so many hybrid drivers inside, Moondrop managed to achieve good coherency throughout the entire frequency range, from upper frequency, lower frequency, all the way to the mid-range. The way the dynamic flows, everything sounded in harmony. So, pace, rhythm, and timing is excellent. You can expect fast-sounding IEM, which also at the same time does not sacrifice on the element of musicality. So we are talking about proper balance here between musical and analytical. So you get, first and foremost, the upper frequency being energetic, vibrant, and highly detailed and highly extended. And I am hearing quite a lot of micro detail as well. The mid-range itself is kind of a bit colored to add a bit of body to the sound itself. So you're gonna get male or female vocals equally rich sounding. Kind of a bit warm sounding in fact, and I find it very pleasing. And when it comes to the lower frequency, there's a good balance also between mid-bass and sub-bass. Both of them are equally presented. Unlike the typical Harman type of tuning, which normally focus a lot more on sub-bass, this one focus on both. So you're gonna get fast, tidy sort of lower frequency, which is normally associated with dynamic driver. So you get traditional sort of dynamic driver presentation from this Moondrop Meteor. And on top of it, technically, I would say that it is also one of the very best because I am hearing the kind of layering, separation, which is normally associated with very well-tuned hybrid drivers because you get a lot of driver working in harmony to present different layer of sound curve, different layer of sound element, and the separation of the instrument, the separation of each sound note is just simply immaculate. And on top of it, while being so very analytical, it does not sound clinical at all. It does not sound sharp or edgy. In fact, it sounded organic and natural. The overall timbre of this Moondrop Meteor is in fact one of the most organic sounding IEM which I have listened to so far coming from Moondrop. To get a bit of perspective, let's just compare it with some of the other hybrid IEM which I have tried so far. Okay, for example, Moondrop on Blessing Tree. That Blessing Tree is very popular, known to be highly technical, very clinical, very resolving and everything. And this is also very resolving. But the key difference is that I think that B3 sounded a bit lean, a bit dry, where else this is a bit more organic, rich sounding, and does not sound to be overly clinical. And in fact, I would even say that when it comes to the technicalities, I would just simply say that this Meteor here does appear to be wider sounding than that P3. Both of them already very holographic. And also let's compare it with another Tribrid which I have reviewed very recently, priced very similarly, which is Dunu DK3001BD. If you have seen my review on it, then you know that I have regarded that 3001BD being a very technical and highly resolving and very detailed IEM. And I can say the same thing for this. The main difference is that DK3001BD is a bit more clinical, a bit more analytical, and focus a lot more on being technical rather than musical. While this one is a bit more well balanced, I am still hearing the similar kind of detail and resolution coming from both of them. However, I must say that DK3001BD does appear to be more neutral, more transparent overall, where else this is more colored. So depending on your preference, you might choose this over the other one. All in all, I'll just simply say that this Meteor is a very appealing IEM. Even priced at $499 US. For the price, I think you are getting the word that you are paying for, because we are talking about something which is very well tuned in every way possible. It is super easy to drive, it is comfortable despite being big. I think the best part is that it is so very versatile. It can handle literally anything I have thrown at it, anything from technical, jazz, anything from classical, electronic music, pop music, or even rock and metal music. Surprisingly, it is also suitable for rock and metal music, which is the biggest factor why I would highly recommend this over many other hybrid IEM. If you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And also please take a moment to click like here. It will really help me out. It is free, by the way. And also please follow me on Instagram, which I have set up very recently. My Instagram will be a platform for me to provide quick updates on the things that I do beyond this video. And again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.